Good morning. Today is the 12th of October 2023 and I'm going to go over my trade plan for today. So we've had some news initially today and we had CPI numbers come out and we saw a bit of a drop, core inflation as well, and today, yeah, and initial jobless claims as well. News for the rest of today, so that's at 8:30 today. And today we've got some medium news at 11 and at 1, so medium impact. So you got a Fed speaker at 1 o'clock today. So let's take a look at the MES chart. Let's go into the daily to start with, so we see where we are. As you can see, we were in a daily downtrend, and now we're in a bit of a pullback on this downtrend. In fact, let's just go out into the weekly. Makes it a bit clearer. Ignore those lines I've got. I'll come into them in a second. So we're in a weekly downtrend, and we're just in a pullback in this downtrend. So potentially, if we connect the trend lines together, we're coming up into the top end of the trend line. So the key area will be the 4,500. If we can break through that area, then we'll see a change of trend on the weekly. So let's go back into the daily. We're putting in this nice bear pattern, bear flag, and if you note the decreasing of volume as well, below average volume for the last few days, and the candles are getting narrower as well, so it's running out of steam a little bit. And as you can see there, it's putting in a bit of a upward wedge as well, so potentially we could see a bit of a breakdown coming back down again. So let's take a look at it on the hourly. So you can see I've drawn in the hourly wedge, and we are quite nicely so putting in a series of higher highs, higher low, higher high, higher low, another higher high and a double top here, and look how we're nicely contained within this wedge. And we are potentially looking at a bit of a this could be forming an hourly 3-bar play for a potential break of this trend line for a move down. So that leads me to my levels for today. We've got to get through this area. I really want to get back down to the 43.80 area, and that's where I'll be waiting for a bounce. Excuse me. So looking for a possible double bottom in that area here, so we can come back down. So that's 43.80 as a potential bounce area, and I'm also looking for a possible break and retest of this trend line for a short play as well. So, but I need it to break and retest, and then with confirmation. So, and that level would be 44.10 area. And 44.10, we've used that area has been significant in the past. Not for a while we've been into those areas, but you can see 44.10 was in play around in August a few times, so it's an area to keep an eye on. And I know if we go back again to June, it was in play a few times as well. So 44.10 is an area to keep an eye on. My chart's a bit messy, and I'm going to go into these lines in a second, because I'm kind of working on a bit of a data theory, and I'm doing some back testing. Possibly looking for a rejection as well up here, so it's pre-market high. So we can get back up to this area, which happens to be this trend line, so 44.30, 44.28 for potential rejection. And I'm going to go into the 5-minute chart as well, because I've got another level at 44.29 for rejection, and I'll explain why. And again, we are narrowing down inside this trend line area, and we'll be looking. The likely scenario is a breakdown from a rising wedge, but we could equally just go up. Oh, ignore that. So we could quite easily break the wedge upwards as well. So not many levels really, just the 2 levels I'm watching for today. Break and retest of this level, 44.30, or a rejection. So I'll be looking for confirmation. and we got an area over here, and we've had an area in the pre-market as well. Or we're looking for a break and retest long, and with a target of 44.50. Pre-market low, might be looking for a potential breakdown as well. Like I said, we want it to break down through this wedge, through this pattern and this flag pattern, and break down. So I'm looking at around 44.10 area for potential breakdown. And then if we do break down, then we'll have a target set of 4400. It's a nice round number. We see we've tried a few times to get to these levels. We broke through it once, came through. So, and 4400 is a significant number in the past as well. And it's an area of high congested volume along there. So I'll declutter this chart a little bit as well. But let's go into the 5 minutes. I just want to show you something. Oh, look how relevant, and it's so relevant as well. I'll go back to yesterday. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at the 8:30 AM data drops. So it's just these levels here, and I'm marking it off with a 50% line as well to see how relevant the 50% line is. So the market, so this is the market open here. So we opened below the 50% line, came out, we retested the 50% a few times and broke down, and then we came back up and we retested the 50% line again, and majority of yesterday's open was below the 50% line, so potentially showing us weakness. And obviously we know what happened afterwards. It turned around and we saw that massive move up, and the data, and then look at the significance of this data line. So the top of this line is this grey line here, and in the post market, so it came back, we touched that area again, and then we've not been back down there since. So that's the kind of an area, and the bottom of this area as well, you can see we came down, we bounced off of it, back up to the 50%, broke through it and retested it a few times before breaking down. And then even on the way back up, it proved a little bit of resistance, and then we broke through, retested it again and broke up, and 50% not in play anymore. So that's that one. So let's have a look at today. So let's get rid of that one. So looking at today's data, the 8:30 data drop. So we've got this candle. This is the 5-minute candle at 8:30, and I've marked off the top of that candle, and I've marked off the bottom, and I've marked off the 50%. And don't think there's any coincidence. It's come down, touched the lower edge of our trend line we were just discussing, pulled back into the 50% area. So these trend lines were there on that candle and rejected, and now it's coming back down into this area. So like I said, I'm still back testing it, and not sure whether there's any significance in these data drops, but today I've got it marked off and then we can watch it. So we are narrowing in a little tiny bit now with this wedge pattern, so we might see a bit of movement a bit later, maybe a breakdown, but 50% of the data drop is still in play, and this lower area as well is still in play. So that's why I've selected the areas I've selected today. So just to recap, let's go back to the hourly. So we're on this rising wedge, and potentially looking for a break and retest of this wedge for a move in the short side, with a target of this pivot here and the 4400. So that's what I'm watching. I'm also watching for a rejection off of the top trend line and today's high, and if we see buying pressure, then I'll be looking for a break and retest long. And I think that's it really. If we can get back down to this area 43.80, I'll be looking for a bounce, and that's a significant area by the looks of it. And that's it. So looking at SPY next, same pattern. I've drawn that in as well. So we've got this rising wedge pattern, and what happens next we won't know, but we'll find out. But potentially we can watch for a break and retest short, or a break and retest long. I think probability of it breaking down is higher than the probability of breaking up, and we have got an area of resistance which is 438.37 area. This area is a potential area of resistance, and that's just based on previous area of confidence, and we could probably refine that a little tiny bit, but that's okay. That's just an area to keep an eye on. And so that would be it's already rejected. Once we look for a double top up that area, and we're looking for a bounce around the 333 area, similar to ES. So this area here for a potential bounce, and it's a daily level. This solid yellow line is a daily level as well. So 2 plays to watch for: a rejection of 438 area, 438.50, or a bounce at 431. I've got 433.10. So that's the area I've got marked up. If we are going for rejection, we've got our specified stop loss, can be just slightly, but keep it tight. Maybe 438.50 to 439 for a stop loss, and that will just keep it quite tight at the top. Okay, looking at Qs. Looking as weak as as weak as ES today. It was a leading ES yesterday. So I've not got any lines set up on here. We've got a couple of demand zones, supply zones. So obviously I didn't really discuss what happens on the ES if we break over this area, but we've got a few areas. I'll go back to those charts before I end the video, so you can maybe pause it and just look at the levels. We've got this area here, which is basically where we are right now. Let's draw it in. 371.50 for a potential break through and retest. Obviously we can draw the trend line on as well, so we can see where we are. That's probably a bit better, and use the pivot. There you go. So we're kind of not close below this trend line just yet. So a break and retest, maybe that's 371.50 is a good retest level as well for a short. And then the target can be 369, which happens to be the rise in 50, and potentially that's the next target as well, 368. Obviously we've got the rejection off of this pre-market high, 373. And then we've got the break and retest of that level as well to watch for, again with confirmation. All trades with confirmation. And looking for a potential support area, and that support area. And what I'm looking for, I was basically looking to line up the tops of these candles with the bottoms of these candles, and then if you go left, you see areas where it also lines up, so makes it a relevant area as well. So potentially we've got a bounce area at 362, 361.80. That's an area to see a bounce if we can get back down to that area. So a couple of levels, 365.88, 366 area for a bounce, and 362. And it's a bit messy around this area, but you could probably say 368 as well. Let's draw it in, because I like to just see how good the levels are the next day when I review my trades. Potentially that's a double bottom area there as well. So 368.50 roughly. Okay, Nasdaq. Let's draw this pattern in. So if you press Control and then drag the line on TradingView, I'll show you, select the line, hold down the Control button, you can clone that line. And I like to clone it because look how spot on it was when I cloned at the bottom. So that's our current area, that's our current upward channel we're watching. We can't quite break through this 50% of the channel, we're trying, and so if we break down through that area, we may see a change on the hourly. Let's just draw in that one. Yeah, no, that's too wide, that one. I can't really find. But yeah, so basically we're watching for the breakdown of today's low, which is 15,350. and that will be the break off this channel as well. So break down and retest short, and then potential target will be that area 15,250, which is the bottom of that pivot, tops of these candles, area confluence, and then we can watch for a bounce around this area as well at 15,150, 15,165. Let's just draw that in as well, so we've got the level for later. And that's it really. So rejection of the high, possible bounce off of this trend line, or if we break through it, a break and retest low. So that trend line is, we are looking at 15,360. Okay, oil's the last one to look at. So we broke through that daily level which I was waiting for, and we came back, and I had a chance to get back in it again today. I missed a level because I wanted to go long using USO, and so I had an order set at the top of the USO and it didn't quite get there. It looks like it may have done, but it's an option, so it wouldn't have filled me until the market opens. So still keeping an eye on this area. I'm looking for a potential long. We're putting in a higher low here, so potentially we could see a bit of a breakout. So I may consider going long if we can break through that area, or close above that area, and that will confirm the trend and the daily back up again. Looking at the hourly, that came right in as well. So this is the area I was waiting for, and I missed it today because what time was that? That was, yeah, in the post market or the pre-market. Unfortunately, you can't stay awake 24/7 to trade, but oil seems to move quite well after market, and it's probably something I should keep an eye on when in the UK here at 9 AM, which is 3 or 4 AM Eastern time. I could have probably watched that for a potential trade, but anyway, I don't want to trade all day because I'm trading from 2:30 PM right through till 9:30, 10 PM my time. So it's a long day. If we can break this area, then we can confirm a change of trend on the hourly as well. So we're putting in a series of lower lows, lower highs, and then we had this nice little head pattern on this shoulder pattern here. So we broke down left shoulder, right shoulder, neckline approximately, and we've just come back and retested it this morning. So it's something to keep an eye on. That's the area to watch for. 68, 86.10, 8600 for potential long, and then we'll be above the 200 moving average as well on the hourly. And that's it. Played by ear. USO. Let's see what that's doing today. Yeah, my order. So my order originally on USO was just down here. Didn't quite get there. Maybe I should have been keeping a closer eye on the crude futures, and my entry wasn't far off. So we'll see what happens. We maybe if we do come back down to this area, I'll still look to go long, and hopefully I've not missed that bottom, but I'll be looking to take a break and retest of this area, or just a break out of that area. I don't do breakouts, I prefer to do retests, so that's what I'll really be waiting for. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to go back to MES and just have the levels in case I may not have gone through all the levels, but let's just put them on here. So if we do break out, we've got potential 44.46 average, 44.50 and 44.70, and these are based on areas of previous confluence. These are old levels which I've left in place, but still pretty relevant because we haven't been to those areas for a while. So bottoms of candles, tops of candles, so there's a bit of a void really. So this 44.60, 44.46, 44.50 area is a bit of a void, so if we do break out over this area, we may see a bit of a run up till we get to 44.80, and then we've got the 4,500 area to keep an eye on as well. Okay, well, thank you for watching, and if the video is useful and helpful to you, hit the like button, and I'll have another video uploading today. I did one on supply and demand and how I find my zones and how I draw them as well, so I'll upload that tonight. Okay, thanks for watching.